Welcome back to Baking for Fun. Today we're going to show you how to make cake pops. So today we're going to be using a new set that we got for making cake pops, and I'll just show you guys a picture of it. And it comes with a mold to use and to bake your cake pops in, sticks, and that's pretty much all it comes with. So today we're going to be featuring the set in this video. However, in the future I will be making a video showing how to make cake pops without the mold and the set, so stay tuned for that if you don't have the set or you can't find it in stores. So I'll start with the ingredients and what you're going to need. You basically just need a cake mix. Cake from a box, doesn't matter what kind, whatever flavor you want. We're just using a white cake mix. And the ingredients for the cake mix is 3 eggs, 2 tablespoons of oil, and then 1 3/3 cups of water. However, we're going to substitute the water with milk and use half as much. So we're going to be using about half a cup, a little bit more than half a cup, to make it the half of the water that we're supposed to be using. And that'll just create a denser cake for the cake pops. And also, this is kind of weird, but we're going to add a package of vanilla pudding. You use whatever flavor you that corresponds with the flavor of cake that you're using. We're using vanilla, and it's just the pack of pudding. And again, this will make it a lot more dense and stay together so that it's easier to decorate your cake pop in the end. Alright, in a large bowl, we're going to take our cake mix, just dump it all in there. And then following the directions, the 3 eggs, the 2 tablespoons of oil, and then this is a little bit more than half a cup of milk. And now we are going to mix it with some electric beaters. And the recipe calls for just moistening it up by being on low speed and just mixing it until everything's kind of all wet. Okay, so now everything's kind of just moistened up, and I just beat it at low speed. Now I'm going to take the pudding mix, just dump it right in. And then we're going to beat this at medium speed for 2 minutes. And something I forgot to mention, before you start, make sure to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, because we are going to bake this for 25 to 28 minutes. So, for the batter itself, it got a little too thick, so we had to stop using the electric mixer, and we just mixed it with a wooden spoon. But it's not too thick, so it's pretty easy. And it just got thick because of the pudding. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our mold, like this, it's 2 parts, and this is the bottom part where you put the actual cake mix in. What we're going to do is that we're going to use some baking spray. You want to make sure you use baking spray and not cooking spray. And just spray kind of heavily, not too much, but a little bit more than a light coating. And make sure to get into each of the little holes. Now, we're going to take the top part, which we're going to flip it like this. You want the top part that's coming out. We're going to just lightly spray this because the cake mix can come through the hole, so we don't want it to stick to the outside. So now what we're going to do is take our bowl with our batter, and what I'm going to do to make it easier to pour into the little wells, I'm going to take a little measuring cup with a little, I don't know, slanted tip, so it's easier to pour the batter. I'm just going to put some batter in the cup, like this. Okay. Then I'm going to take the pan, the first pan, and using a spoon, or actually a knife would probably be best, and starting from the middle, I'm just going to gently put some in there. And you just want to fill it enough so that it kind of goes high enough. Not too high though. Like so. So I'm going to do the rest and come back. Alright, so we filled the whole mold up. A tip that we figured out while doing this was to use a plastic Ziploc type bag and just using a cup and putting the bag in the cup like so. This is just quickly done. See how I just stuck it in there? Putting the batter in there just a little bit and then closing it up and then cutting a small hole on the side and just kind of piping it into the wells makes it a lot easier. So you could try that if you are having difficulties putting it inside the mold. Alright, now what we're going to do is take the top of the mold and we again sprayed it both sides. And we're going to put it on top, kind of equaling it out on the sides, and using the little rubber grips to hold. They look like this. And you just hold, they're just used to hold the pans. I'm just putting them on both sides, like so. And now our oven is ready at 350, and we are going to put it in for 25 to 28 minutes. So we're going to start out with 25 minutes and see how it looks then. Alright, so we took them out, and it actually only took 20 minutes. So depending on your oven, it might be more or less, but on the directions it says 25 to 28, but we saw on the top, as you can see, it kind of pops out. It was golden brown on the top that popped out, so we decided to just take it out at 20 minutes, and it seems to be ready. So, as you can see, this whole thing was covered with that top, but it's actually really easy to take off. See? It like literally just comes off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take out the little rubber grips. They are kind of hot though, so be careful. I'm just taking them off. See, we took them off. Took it off. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is kind of take a towel. See how we can take this off. Okay, so to take it off, we're going to just use this knife and kind of slit it between the two pans and kind of lift it. With a towel. Oh, I think one's stuck. It's okay, whatever. There we go. One's missing, but that's fine. Oh, our timer just went off. Okay, so we got our cake pops. And then there was one stuck on the other side, but we'll just let it cool down and it should come off. So, these are the cake pops. They are really round. I'm going to let them cool down just a little bit before taking them out. Alright, so now we are going to take our sticks and we want to put them into our cake balls. But we're going to have to put chocolate on the end of the stick so that it holds inside the ball. So what we did is that we are boiling some water currently. Sorry, the steam might get into the camera. So what we're going to do is put the bowl with the chocolate and we are going to mix it with a spoon. And we're just using a tiny bit of water, a tiny bit of chocolate, because we just need a little bit for the sticks. Alright, so now we have our melted chocolate. So what we're going to do is take our stick, and we have our cake pops right beside it. See? What we're going to do is take our stick, and these sticks are cool because they have like a little part where you're supposed to stop the chocolate. We're just going to take our spoon and just dip it in the chocolate. And then we are going to take a cake pop and just stick it in right in the middle. like that. And then you wanna, the best thing would be to prop it up this way. So if you found like a styrofoam piece, you could just prop them up like that. So we're gonna do the rest and come back. Alright, so we put our cake balls in the freezer, and you can see here that the chocolate has solidified and the cake ball is stuck onto the stick. So now in a bowl we put in more of the semi-sweet chocolate chips, and we used about, it's probably a bag and a half of chocolate chips, and we're just gonna melt this. And something we're gonna do is add around 2 tablespoons of oil, and this will just make the chocolate a little less thick and shiny. Also, once it dries, it will be shinier. So we're just gonna let this melt and come back and show you how we dip it. Alright, so it's all melted, and we did add the vegetable oil, so now you can see how thin and shiny it is. So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna take your cake pop, and you want to move it as less as possible because you don't want to loosen up the stick. So what you're going to do is just go straight down. Okay, and you can see how it doesn't totally cover it. So with the spoon, you're just going to take it and just cover it completely. Like so. And then just bring it up. And then you can put it on its side and just twist it around to just take off all the excess. Okay, and then if you have like a little styrofoam box or just something again to prop it up, we have like this type of styrofoam that you get in like packaging. So we just made holes in it to just hold it up. A lot of people use like those little boxes that hold flowers, you know, like fake flowers. And then if it drips off, that's fine, just let it drip off. It's not that big of a deal. I'll just do another one. Again, move it as less as possible because you don't want it to loosen up. Like that. And then bring it up, bring it on its side, and just twist it gently around. Get off the excess. And don't tap the actual stick, tap your hand if you want to take some off. Like so. And just prop it up onto your holding spot and just let it cool down. So we're going to do the rest and show you guys what they look like when they're done. Alright, so we dipped all of them. That's one. That's the other. And we are going to let this dry, preferably overnight. If you don't have the time for it though, it should be ready in about 2 or 3 hours. But the best would be to leave it overnight. So we're going to come back tomorrow to show you guys the final product. Here's the final product of our cake pop, and I just cut it in half so you can see inside. You can see that it's white cake mix covered with chocolate. Like so. Hope you guys enjoy, and see you later. Bye.